Hey there, I'm Jen Houston from the Artsy Fartsy Gallery here in Canada. I wanted to show you a neat little technique today. I've been making some poinsettia leaves using the Rooted in Nature stamp bundle. Let me just show you some of the cards that I made this morning. So this, for instance, is a little Christmas poinsettia, and I didn't do the whole poinsettia, but I made some little leaves on this Christmas card that I made. So I wanted to show you how I did it and how simple it was. So let me show you here. This is the stamp set that I'm using, Rooted in Nature. So even though it isn't necessarily a Christmas stamp set, I'm using it as one because there's these neat Christmas trees. I don't know if you saw the card that I made yesterday, but it had, let's see, I'll try and find it later. Had these neat Christmas trees, but today I'm using this small leaf to make these neat poinsettias. So let me show you how I did this. So I've got my scrap piece of Very Vanilla here, and I've got my little leaf stamp here already mounted onto the block. So I'm going to use Cherry Cobbler ink to stamp the leaf onto my scrap here. So I'm just going to do 3 random ones here. Okay. Now I'm going to take my aqua painter. Still got some orange in there, so let me get rid of some of that. So you, with aqua painters, you put a little bit of water in the barrel, and then it becomes kind of like a paintbrush. And you don't even need water for the paintbrush. So I'm just going to kind of mix some of this color that's been stamped, just using this wet brush here, the aqua painter. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Cajun Craze, and if you squeeze the ink pads, squeezing it, it will leave some ink behind on the lid. So as you can see, I've already used it, but I added a little more ink there. So if you just take your aqua painter and swish around some paint, I'm just going to come back in, and where some of the spots were that didn't I didn't kind of smush all the paint colors together, I'm going to add this Cajun Craze color. And that way it'll just make the leaves look a little more dimensional. And that's how I got the color. Next, what I did was I have the Frost White Shimmer Paint, which is pretty awesome. So you can paint it on just like a paint, or you can put a little bit of it in one of these misters. They are in kind of the accessories part of the catalog. Put a little bit of paint in here and add the rest with water. Give it a little shake, and I'm going to spray, just misting. You don't want to saturate it too much, but mist it, and it's going to make the paper just very shiny. So I'm going to dry this. Next, I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, and one of them is almost empty, and one of them, oh, this one's not the empty one. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add little dots of Wink of Stella, so a little sparkle kind of dots. And how I'm doing that is just by tapping it onto my finger, and it leaves little blobs of glitter. How perfect is that? So I'm just going to dry that to make sure it's dry before I start smearing it all over. Okay, now I'm going to cut these out. If I can find, there they are. I have my little scissors here. So you don't have to be too fussy because there's a lot of color around. the leaves. So if you don't quite get the red line, that's okay. Nobody's going to look that closely at your leaves. Just going to cut this off, make it a little simpler on myself. Okay. Kind of on the stem, I'm going to leave it a little bit thicker, just so that if I need to glue there, I'll have a little more to glue with. Oops. And one more leaf. Oh, I'm loving all this shimmer and sparkle. So pretty. The next step is the one that turns just like a flat leaf into one that looks exactly like a poinsettia leaf. So what I've got here is my foam pad here. And I'm going to use my take your pick tool. This is a pretty nifty tool that they've come out with. One side has this little gummy bit here. It's going to focus. Anyways, it's kind of like sticky tack. And so you can use it to pick up the little rhinestones, pick up sequins, what have you, and place them exactly where you want them. The other end has 4 different items that you can switch it to be. So there's the poker tool, there's the kind of the, I don't know, I'm going to call it a little shovel, a little spatula maybe, tool, so you can, you know, take your stamps off of the blocks, or rhinestones or jewels or gems. You can pick them up nicely. Then the other 2 are kind of burnishing tools. So one end is quite small and the other end is a lot bigger. So how you do this is you just stick in whatever end you don't want and give it a little twist, and it's locked in there. So the one I want is the larger burnishing tool, and that is what's going to give these leaves quite the look. So you're going to flip it over, and basically you're just going to rub onto the paper, and basically all you're doing is breaking up the paper fibers and just making them a little more pliable, a little more flexible. And that's what gives this leaf kind of a real look. So I don't know if you can see that. So it's, you know, a little curvy. So neat. All right, so one done. I'm going to do that with the other 2. So I'm pressing quite hard and just going in little circles. There's another leaf. Whoops, and the last one. Now, how simple was that? So, for card ideas, I have my Very Vanilla here. And, I mean, you could use a stitched framelit, put a saying on it, and just add some little leaves like what I did on the one card. Wants to jump around here. Like, how pretty is that? You could, you know, put on a background of some sort, a pattern paper. This one I used the cable knit sweater embossing folder to give that a little pizzazz. This one I did the watercolor wash. I'm not sure how I'm exactly going to do up this card, but I will maybe post a picture on Facebook after I'm finished with this one, so you can have another idea. All right, I hope you've learned a new fun technique. This could be used for all sorts of leaves. not just for poinsettia leaves, but why not for other kind of leaves using this stamp set. All right, so I hope you give this a try. Have a good day.